I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, so Hunter, his team's pretty bad, but he paid us so much money extra to talk good about his team, so we're gonna have to pretend like it's good.
Yeah, I don't understand how we're going to pull that off because it's completely in the shitter.
It's like last place. I don't know what he did, what happened, but we'll just pretend that he did a great job, and because I think,
Yeah,
I mean, between the 500 that he gave us, we got to split that, and
yeah. I
he's not gonna
mean,
he's gonna want it back if we didn't.
yeah. I mean, it's nice of him to to you pay us to talk good about him, even though maybe that's the thing. He knew he wasn't going to do good, but he
Right.
wanted to make himself look like he's better than he is. Like we'll be
Yeah.
like, wow, the ball is really
Well,
bounced the wrong way for Hunter.
they're gonna think that we're a bunch of idiots for talking about how good he was at the
Yeah,
beginning of the season,
yeah. What's
but
it? Hold on. Why is
the
it?
money talks. Money talks.
Hey, is the
Oh shit, we live?
are
Wait,
we?
did we live?
Is did you press record?
I think I did.
Oh,
The whole league heard that.
okay.
We're live.
Yes.
Welcome to the greatest show on paper.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna talk about this league. This is our mid-season check-in, but this league prefers us to talk about them at the end of the season. But we have some postseason teams or leagues that we got to talk about during the playoffs. So we made it to the very last second, week 14, greatest show on paper. We're going to determine who is going to be the greatest show on paper by the end of the year. We'll tell you who's that going to be at the end of the show. All right. What we usually do is we start at the bottom of the standings, work our way up, and let you know at the end who we think is going to win this league. So why don't we start at the bottom of the standings, which is the Golden Gods.
Wait a minute. The Golden Gods?
The Golden Gods.
They can't be last.
The Golden Frauds.
The Golden Frauds.
Golden Frauds.
Man.
This
does not know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what happened, Hunter. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. So he's got his kicker. He's on IR. We're going to start kicker analysis.
It's so funny that you refuse to usually talk about kickers, and that's the first thing you go to on the last place team.
Gotta talk about something. The kicker's been great. I think before he got injured, he was pretty nailing it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, Jordan Love obviously battled injuries throughout the year. I'm guessing Hunter probably drafted Anthony Richardson pretty highly, and I think that's probably why I liked his team so much at the beginning of the year.
Right.
Because I loved me some Anthony Richardson, as you know.
I do.
And that did not go very well. He lost Pacheco for most of the year. Calvin Ridley didn't start doing anything until 6 weeks ago. Jaden Reed just gave him a goose egg. Trey McBride's been great. What do you think happened with this team? I mean, I don't have the draft in front of me.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there must have been some injuries that happened along the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, I don't know if he just made some bad decisions with the trading, because he acquired Swift, Ridley, Reed, McBride, Puka, and Roma Dunze. I don't know if those are all this year or if there's something. Is this a keeper league?
No, I don't believe so.
Because that's a lot of trades to make.
Well, it started off rough because he had the 101
Right.
and he drafted Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
So that killed him.
Yeah, and then Pacheco going down, and then he had some late bloomers, like he was probably counting on Blake Corum to take over that backfield, and he hasn't. Odunze's been off and on at best. Nakua missed time. Chase Brown didn't come on until late. I mean, really the only consistent player he's got are, Jordan Love, with the exception of when he missed a little bit of time.
There must have been some bad trades because he drafted Malik Neighbors. He drafted Kyle Pitts. He lost Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Jameson Williams. Yeah, this draft just didn't go his way.
Yeah.
He did draft Bucky Irving with his last pick, but I don't even see him on the roster.
He gone.
He's gone. Hunter, what happened, man? Just absolutely.
Well, this might be one where he's just lamenting a lot of things that went the wrong way, like gambled and lost.
Yeah. All right. Well, we don't like to spend a lot of time on the loser teams, so let's just move up to the Marvin's Marvels,
who
haven't been very marvelous.
No.
So they are.
I'm marveling at how bad they are.
So they're 4-9. Quarterbacked by Justin Herbert, Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Etienne, Jordan Addison, Darnell Mooney, Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's probably where things went wrong.
Right.
Put a little too much stake into Marvin Harrison Jr. Zay Flowers been up and down on the bench. Same with Tucker Kraft, Bo Nix. He's got some good pieces, but when you got Jalen Coker in your flex who hasn't played in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Overall, just the wide receiver core here of Addison, Mooney. Let's put aside Harrison for a minute. Coker, Devon Valley, who I like, but he shouldn't be. Well, you should have better players at wide receiver.
Well, he drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first round, so that really tanked it.
Yeah, and I keep my eyes keep going straight to the bench because this week obviously is the second Bipocalypse. But then I'm even more surprised when I look down and see that they don't have anybody. Really that's like killing them on buys this week.
Yeah, and he drafted Lamar Jackson, so I'm curious what that trade ended up being. I don't think we're able to actually see the trades, unfortunately, because I think we've tried that on ESPN before, and we just can't see the transactions, unfortunately.
Well, I don't really see anything on here that's like the haul that you should get for Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he sold a little low on that.
Yeah, I wish we could see what happened with that. Although, might be able to. So why don't you talk one more second about this team? Let me see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, sure. He's got Bo Nix and Justin Herbert. They're no Lamar Jackson, but both of them coming on strong here towards the end. But I'm guessing this team was already set out to the curb at that point. But anytime you're going to start Addison and Mooney at wide receiver, I'm not saying neither one of them have had flashes, but if that's who you're leaning on at wide receiver, then you're in trouble.
All right, here we go. So on October 3rd at 12:32 in the afternoon, the Marvin's Marvels traded Lamar Jackson to Lamar Johnny Jackson. They traded Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy. And they acquired Zay Flowers and Jordan Love. So they traded Lamar and Jerry Judy, Flowers and Jordan Love.
Okay.
Yes? That makes sense? That's a terrible trade.
And then Jordan Love ended up on the Golden Gods.
Yes.
So Marvin, I'm just going to decide that this guy's name is Marvin. So Marvin acquired Jordan Love in a deal where he went down from Lamar to Jordan, and then he flipped Jordan Love, which was probably not the wisest thing either.
No. I mean, maybe he traded him during like his injury period. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That's a possibility. Okay, I'm done with this team.
Yeah, we're done with this team. All right. Let's move on to...
I need an RB2.
I need an RB2.
I remember I need an RB2, and they did, in fact, need an RB2. But
the one team that didn't change their name during the season?
Right. So we've got Baker Mayfield, Jalen Warren, Devon Chain. I guess Jalen is the RB2. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Neighbors, Disley's a good pickup, Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams. Not talking about kickers or defense. Mark Andrews, Bigsby, Downs, Leggett, Alec Pierce, and A.D. Mitchell. Probably shouldn't be on a team. What's your first takeaway on this?
I wasn't paying attention. I was
okay.
replying to the chat. Wes wants to come on the show, so
okay.
Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren's a disaster as your RB2. Achane had a hot streak.
Jalen Warren is a reliable flex.
He's going to be unreliable in the fantasy playoffs, but this guy's not going to know anything about that because he's not going to be in the fantasy playoffs.
Right.
Amon-Ra St. Brown's been kind of disappointing. Malik Neighbors started strong. He's been good, but he's got a quarterback problem there. Will Disley, it's tough to rely on Will Disley as your tight end. Amari Cooper's been a disaster. Devontae Adams has his moments. Mark Andrews.
Not many of them.
Yeah. Mark Andrews, same thing. Josh Downs had a moment. The Colts
this is
the bench is terrible.
This is one where they've all had a couple moments, but I'm guessing none of them happened at the same time. Or maybe they did 5 times, and that's why he's 5 and 8. Yeah, that's I'm unimpressed. I need an RB2, and I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know who you're playing this week, but I think you got one more loss in you.
All right, let's move on to Benny Vidivici. Why don't you take the lead on this while I send the link to Wes?
Which team is Wes?
I don't know. I'm guessing he must be towards the top because he wants to come on the show.
Yeah.
Nobody else wants to. Now we know why Hunter didn't come on.
Right, yeah. Okay, Benny Vidivici, which is good team name. You guys got a lot of good team names. I like that.
Yeah. Golden
he's got Tua, Rico Dowdle, and some man named Sincere McCormick. Which is, I still laugh every time you said that. when you read your statement.
Some guy named Sincere.
No, you said man. You said some man named Sincere McCormick.
You know how many times I've gone back and watched that and just laughed at myself?
Oh, I just died.
If no one else in the world found that funny, I don't care because I thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
I thought it was hilarious. Everybody I showed it to thought it was really funny. AJ Brown and George Pickens manning the wide receiver slots. Sam Laporta's been a little bit of a disappointment this year. Brian Thomas Jr. Has been, I guess, mostly okay, but he's tough to count on. DJ Moore has not been DJ Moore.
No.
Then we got
targets though.
Then we got Nico Collins, Dontavian Wicks, Kenneth Gainwell, Elijah Moore, Ramondre, CJ Stroud, and Senior Dobbins on the IR. This is another one where you just kind of haven't quite put it together, but they've still got some good pieces. This team could conceivably get hot. I know they're on the outside looking in right now, but if I'm not mistaken, these 6 and 7 teams, I mean, they need a little bit of luck, but probably still have a shot at the playoffs. But I like this team. But there are certainly some things that I would change, but like having Sincere McCormick in there, and I don't know who the other. Ramondre's on by.
Yeah, desperate times, man. Desperate times. They're hanging on.
Yeah,
hanging on by a thread, trying to get into the playoffs this week.
Yeah, man, it's tough when you're trying to make the playoffs in a Bye-Mageddon week. It's hard.
All right, I'm just going to look at this draft real quick. See if we can figure out where things went wrong.
Well, he made a bunch of trades too. This is a very trade-happy league, and that's sort of refreshing.
Yeah, it is. So we started by drafting Garrett Wilson in the first round, so that's kind of been a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
He lost Nico Collins. Actually, is Nico Collins even on the roster still?
Yeah.
He is? Okay. So he lost him for a while. Trey McBride is not on the roster, though, right?
Nope.
Okay, let's see what happened with Trey McBride. So Trey McBride was traded in a massive deal on October 8th at 3:14 in the afternoon. He traded Trey McBride, Rome Odunze, and Devon Achane to the Golden Gods for Josh Jacobs, T. Higgins, and Sam Laporta.
Well, if Hunter still had T. Higgins and Josh Jacobs, he'd be in a lot better shape right now.
Poor Hunter, man.
Poor Hunter.
Poor.
Yeah, this. I'm. By the way, I'm still waiting for you to check one of these trades and say on November 1st at 3:45 a.m. so we can blame it on the sauce.
I will make sure I give you the timestamp on every deal that goes down.
Well, I just want to hear that one was obviously done drunk.
Well, some of these
it might have still been drinking from the night.
Might have still been. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's go to yes. Oh, this is Wes. Let's bring up the perfect timing. We got to him.
Who knew?
Who knew? What's up, Wes?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Wish I was doing better, honestly.
Well, you got a chance. Still in the running.
All so right. What went right? What went wrong for you this season?
I managed to just somehow get the absolute unluckiest end of the stick. I pretty much drafted perfectly. I feel really bad for whoever the guy was who picked me as his league champion in the preseason episode.
Mm-hmm.
Must not have been
because I mean I had Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, James Conner, Chuba Hubbard as running backs, Cooper Kupp in the 4th round. I had Burrow in the 9th round. And I mean, even trading, I traded Burrow for Jaden Daniels, and then suddenly Burrow became better than Daniels. Like, I just got incredibly unlucky. When you look at the weekly record versus all teams, I am 143, and the next best team is 80 and 63. And I need 2 people to lose this week and me to win this week in order to make the playoffs.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I've scored 150 more points than anyone else in this league, and I probably won't make it.
Really?
Well, it seems like every year that happens to somebody. Yeah, it's still a strong team if you can make it through this bye week. I can absolutely see this team getting hot. So you still got reason to hope. Do you know specifically who needs to lose, or just you need one of the 7 and 6s?
I need 2 of the 7 and 6 teams to lose. I have the tiebreaker as points for, so I have the tiebreaker over everybody. But technically, one of the 7 and 6 teams won't make it. So I would need a jam at 7 and 7.
Gotcha.
And then I would jump everybody from there.
Well, it's good to have that tiebreaker in your back pocket for sure. What do you think of Hunter's team?
That was my question. That's where I was going. That's all we care about. What the hell happened to Hunter?
Hunter just got so unlucky with injuries. I mean, I was telling him from the beginning that AR was a bust, and he still drafted him at QB5. So I mean, he died on that sword rightfully. But yeah, Pacheco all season drafting, CMC and him getting hurt, and then he kept making trades to, try and catch up, but he just never was able to catch up. He always seemed to still be a step behind everybody. So he just kind of got unlucky, but some of that is his own doing. So
yeah.
76 moves during the season for Hunter.
76?
I think he might have outsmarted himself here a little bit.
Very much so.
Well, how are you feeling going into this weekend? Let's see. Did you have anybody play? Oh, you already had Saquon. No.
I had Christian Watson go yesterday.
Oh, you had Watson.
That was my big thing with no Taylor and no Terry. I basically had to play somebody. I basically spent my trades this year were so good. I utilized other people's injuries to my advantage. I traded Burrow for Jaden Daniels before the Bears game when it was questionable if he would play. The guy took the trade on Thursday when I said, well, if he doesn't play, you can take Burrow from me straight up.
Right.
And so he did that, and then he ended up playing the Bears game. And then I traded with Nicky, DJ Moore for T. Higgins straight up with a little bit of fab because T. Higgins was injured. He needed a receiver. So I managed to just incrementally get my team better. But it still doesn't seem to have done the trick. But yeah, this week I had to run someone on my bench, whether it be Watson or Johnston or Nick Chubb. So luckily Watson pulled it out. I mean, I feel good. Obviously, I have the best team in the league. I've been projected 140 or more points every week. So as long as my team does what they're supposed to do, I can do what I can do my part. But I am reliant on other people, which sucks.
Yeah, that's a good start with Watson, considering how up and down he's been, or how up and down anybody in that pass catching core for Green Bay has been. I actually was on the pod last night, and they made us sit one stud for the week, and I said Jaden Reed, and he ended up with donuts. So I was real happy to see. Yes, not that I'm patting myself on the back.
We would never do that.
Waiting for one of you to do it.
You honestly know a lot more than Hunter, which he's playing one of the 7 and 6 teams. So I was hoping that Hunter could do something for once, but yeah, he decided to do Love and Reed, so that stack didn't really work out.
Yeah, we got to start a petition to change that team name to the Golden Frauds.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, for sure. What is is there a punishment in this league?
They're supposed to be. Year by year, people seem to just not do it, and Chris outright declined to do it this year, even though we were all at the draft at the same time. So We're hoping that Hunter does get the Sacco because Hunter will at least do a punishment, and that can start, everybody does it every year kind of thing. But yeah, people have seemed to weasel their way out of it so far.
Well, we got to make it extra good if Hunter has to do it. Because he paid us like a ton of extra money to talk about his team.
Yeah, it was a lot
of his team. Like
he made my car payment.
That was when we split it.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, it seems like you've got the type of team that it can get hot at the right time. You just need a little help this week. So
it's gonna get hot as soon as you're eliminated.
Yeah, I said earlier
the playoffs.
I said if my team doesn't make the playoffs, it'll be the year that we look back on like the historical references, and you'll be looking at everyone's team and being like, where are all the good players? No Barkley, no Taylor, no Jaden Daniels. Like all the good players are on someone else's team.
Well, this is where maybe you propose to the league that next year we implement a game against the median and solve this problem.
Yeah, I've proposed things like that. I've also proposed, if we don't want one of the other teams in the playoffs, we can just vote me in. Who doesn't want the most powerful team in the playoffs? We can. There's guys who aren't talking in the chat right now who are just kind of setting a lineup. I'm more active.
Who do you certainly hope you get there, man. Best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Before you go.
Yeah.
Assuming it's not you, who's going to win the league?
Honestly, I would probably say a J. It was kind of an afterthought earlier this year. He never seems to be able to put it together, but somehow he's found himself in first place. So, Travis Kelce's kind of come back. He's, Kyron's made it through the year healthy, and he's got Bijan. He traded for Lamar, so he's got that. I mean, he could definitely use some help on the bench, but I think he's got a pretty solid team that he'll get a bye and he'll be able to wait things out a little bit and only have to win 2 more matchups. So I think he's probably got the one with the most to lose so far.
All right, last question. Which of the teams that are going to make the playoffs absolutely don't deserve to be there?
Let's see.
This is a soapbox moment, man. Let them have it. Let her rip.
I mean, Greta by far, Lisan Al-Gab, who is next on your list, and Andrew Belay, Chase Ship. Those 2 would ideally be the 2 to lose this week. But obviously, Greta is going to end up beating Hunter because Hunter got that donut from Reed. But Greta has, I think, where is he in points for? In points for, he is third to last. He's got 1577 on the
season. Which team is Greta?
Lisan Al-Gab.
Okay.
They're not losing this week.
I've got 1882 for reference. So he might manage to get in over me, but it just that doesn't make sense. And then Andrew scored a lot of points, but his team is very much reliant on Jamar Chase. So,
Jamar Chase, right?
I would say my team very easily over both of those would make the playoffs a lot more interesting. But it is how it is in the fantasy season. I had 4 losses by 3 points or less, 2 losses by less than a point. So going through it.
Man, I feel like this
one of those years.
It's the airing of grievances.
Add a median. Game against the median. That's going to solve your problem. All right, Wes. Well, thank you for joining us. And anytime you want to come on one of our shows, let us know. Come to the analyst side, come to the dark side.
Will do.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. All right. Good luck this weekend.
All right. Let's move on to Lisan Al-Gab. We don't know how to say this name, but
Lisan Al-Gab is what he said. I don't know what the fuck it means.
Can we get a translator in here? So 7-6. This is one of the teams that is fighting for the last spot in the
Right.
playoffs, as he said. I believe he mentioned he's going against Hunter this week, so that's an easy chalk up win. But if you look at his lineup, it's a pretty good lineup, especially in particular for week 14. So he's got Jalen Hurts going against the Panthers. He's got Tony Pollard going against the Jaguars. He's got Braylon Allen, who you're going to punt, squeeze in there as your RB2. Decent matchup against the Dolphins. We're going to talk about him tomorrow. DK Metcalf could be a shootout against the Cardinals. He's going to score points. Khalil Shakir is going to score a bunch of points this week against the Rams. Juwan Jennings, difficult matchup. Quarterback can't throw the ball down the field right now with his shoulder, but Juwan Jennings has been hot. Nick Westbrook-Akina has been as hot as anybody. Ride him while he's hot. Keep it going. Great matchup against the Jaguars. Brandon Aubrey's going to score a ton of points against the Bengals. Steelers, they're going against pick six.
Why do you have to do that?
Because the Bengals defense.
Why
sucks,
are you the way you
it?
are? Why are you the way you are?
Because it's just more fun this way. This team might be the highest scoring team of the week. This team is not being eliminated. This team is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. And I like the fact that he went out and got proactive, made the trade for Braylon Allen, knowing that he had Breece Hall, and
he did,
and that's paying dividends right now. And this is exactly when you wanted it to pay dividends.
He traded for him on November 19th at 7:53 a.m.
Wow.
So that deal, actually, this is a kind of a crazy deal. So he traded for, this is again including Hunter. So Hunter traded Braylon Allen and Jalen Hurts for Deebo Samuel.
Oh. Oh, God.
Hunter, what are you doing?
Man, that hurts. Hunter, why are you the way you are?
The Golden Frauds completely earned the name.
Yeah. So Lisa Agab, like you said, at least for week 14, is set up for success.
They still need help to get in, though.
Yeah. And in the playoffs, if they make it, they could certainly make some noise. I think that wide receiver 2 spot's going to hurt them. Because I love Khalil Shakir. I'm a big, huge fan. But he's tough to rely on. Just when you think you can, you can't. But I like this team, and it's a shame he's wasting this win on Hunter and not just taking out one of the other 7-6 teams.
So Lisan Al-Gaab means voice from the outer world.
Oh, okay. Je ne sais quoi means I don't know what.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
Legal cheaters. They are hanging on by a thread, the last spot for the playoffs. 7-6, sixth place. This week they got going Joe Burrow, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Jonnu Smith, Jameson Williams, Devontae Smith, Seahawks defense, and Chase McLaughlin. On the bench, they got Brian Robinson Jr., Zach Charbonnet, Kyle Pitts, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Bears defense, and Ray McLeod. Why the hell is anybody rostering Ray McLeod at this point in the season?
You know what? I'd drop Marquez Valdez-Scantling first, probably.
You could drop them both. Handcuff running backs. Stack them all up.
I first have to give him props for beating everybody to the waiver wire to get Jonnu Smith.
John has been awesome.
Because obviously that was a big move. This is really interesting. Little Cheaters or Legal Cheaters has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players on their roster that they traded for.
Really?
9 players. Traded for Kyle Pitts, traded for Zach Charbonnet, traded for Devontae Smith, traded for Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, Joe Burrow.
Interesting.
So that is somebody that was active, and I guess sort of the opposite of Hunter. His trades turned out for the better. Which is always, it's always a fear. What happens to you then that you go back and I wish I hadn't made that trade.
Right.
There's always that other person. It's like, man, I'm sure glad I made that trade.
So this week, if Kenneth Walker ends up being out, are you plugging in Zach Charbonnet into this lineup over anybody? Najee Harris? Maybe?
Yeah, probably. I probably would play him over Harris, although there's been several times this season that I expected Harris to lay an egg and he just turned out fine. But far be it for me to forget the times that Charbonnet has filled in for Kenny Walker. He's had some really nice games, which is why I can't figure out why Seattle doesn't get him involved a little bit more, even when Walker's healthy.
Right. All right. So this week they have to beat the Silence of the Lambs to the third place, 8-5, Silence of the Lambs, to hang on to 6th place. Because we know 7th place is winning this week. That's going to happen.
Right.
So we'll see if they can hang on. All right, let's move on. Let's get to the 5th place team, Chase Ship.
Who shouldn't even be there, according to Wes.
7-6. Oh, so this team is also hanging on in 5th place. There's also a chance that this team gets bumped out if they lose this week.
Let's also not forget to mention that Josh Jacobs already got 3 touchdowns.
Well, okay, all right. This team is probably in good shape. So we also got Kyler Murray. Now we're also starting Jonathan Brooks this week because we just lost Christian McCaffrey. Jamar Chase, a wide receiver, along with Jalen Waddle, the Luke Schoonmaker in there. If Ferguson's back, we do have Ferguson as well. So we got a Cowboy tight end. Adam Thielen in the flex, Gus Edwards in the flex, John Parker Romo, Vikings kicker. So either Hunter's going to get his kicker back or John Parker Romo is going to be the kicker for the Vikings.
Right.
Hard-hitting kicker analysis. And don't forget, we got the 2 bench defenses.
That's right. The all-important.
Yeah. And this week they're starting the Bengals.
The Broncos.
The Bengals.
Huh?
They're starting the Bengals this week because the Broncos are on the bye week, as are the Ravens.
Oh, sure enough. So 3 defenses and 2 bench defenses. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I did hear that it sounds like Ferguson is going to give it a go.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to play.
That's pretty big against Cincinnati.
Right.
He could have a good game. Yeah, Pop Douglas, Patrick Taylor. Not really
Riding
excited.
Josh Jacobs too.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, Jamar Chase. That's what we're counting on this week.
Yeah. And we're hoping Kyler Murray does what everybody wanted Kyler Murray to do at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And he'll have a chance against
Yeah,
Seattle.
he does. Yeah. That game, Seahawks, Cardinals, we talked about a couple weeks ago. Seahawks, Cardinals is either 13-6 or it's 38-35. Could go either way. Last time it was pretty low scoring, so we'll see what happens this time around.
All right.
Because Gus
so
Edwards this week is going to against the Chiefs. Gus Edwards is going to give you a nothing burger.
Yeah, that's going to be a 0.
So we can drop Tank Dell. We can drop whichever Cowboys tight end is not going to play this week. We can drop Demario Douglas. We can drop a defense. But if you want to stash, maybe you want to stash a defense for the fantasy playoffs, whatever. Do what you want to do with that. But Tank Dell can go. Demario Douglas can go. Let's stash some running backs. I don't know who's on the waiver wire, but stash some running backs.
Is Houston on bye this week?
Yes.
Man, I tell you what, the first thing I would do is go out there and try to find somebody else to put at the second flex position.
Can we go pick up?
Gus Edwards should not be there.
No, but I don't know who else are you gonna put
Yeah,
in
I
there?
don't know.
I mean, the trade deadline is
Jonathan Brooks is in the starting lineup, so
all right. Just
go out. Maybe go pick up. What's his name from the Bears?
Hershon Johnson.
You know the guy. He's been around like for eons. No, not Rashawn.
Keenan Allen.
Huh?
Keenan Allen's not available. Guy from the Bears.
Yeah, the third string running back. You know the guy.
Deontay Foreman?
No.
He's not even there. He's the Browns. Third running back on the third running back. Why am I blanking on who the hell? This is great content, by the way.
It really is. But I know you're dying to know, so I'm going to tell you.
Well, now I want to know off the top of my head. I got to know this. I'm sure I know who. Oh, is it Travis Homer?
It is Travis Homer.
Oh. All right, I haven't lost it yet. Right.
I mean, if Swift doesn't play, I mean,
get out of here, Travis Homer. Are you bringing Travis Homer to the show tomorrow?
Maybe.
We're gonna vote you off the island if you do.
Oh.
Well, one more thing I want to talk about real quick.
Okay.
The waiver wire. Look at the guys who are on the waiver wire. I don't know
how to navigate ESPN.
Believe me, I've been struggling this whole show to try to navigate ESPN. Every time you're talking, I'm trying to navigate something, and it's a struggle. But yeah, on the waiver wire, you already know how I feel about handcuff running backs.
Well, they do have big benches in this league.
Yes, and we're rostering guys like Tank Dell and Michael Pittman and 3 defenses. And
well, I don't think rostering Tank Dell is that bad.
Tank Dell was in the spot of all spots last week against the Jaguars. You know what he did? Maybe I just have a little bias against him because I talked about him on our sleeper show, and he gave us 1 catch for 23 fucking yards.
Oh my God! All right, look. Chase Ship needs Jamar Chase
to chase the ship
in a game where pretty much anybody can score for the Bengals. So best of luck to you.
Yeah. And go pick up Trey Benson and Ray Davis and Jalen Wright, Israel Abanikanda, Emmanuel Wilson, Chris Rodriguez, Isaiah Davis.
Chris Rodriguez, no. Emmanuel Wilson, no.
Did you see what Chris Rodriguez did last week on the after I talked about Jerry McNichols for a half hour?
Yep.
It's Chris Rodriguez show.
Nah, it was a an aberration.
I don't know, man.
All right, can we move on?
Let's move. Go pick up Sean Tucker.
There
All
are
right.
better teams that want to hear about what we think of their awesome teams.
No, what we talked about before we went on? We said we're not going to spend much time on the really bad teams. We spent 45 minutes talking about the really bad teams. All right. Let's get to some body camera footage.
That's
footage.
right.
Oh, footage. I like this name. This is probably the most creative name. It's my favorite team name so far.
Right. I don't know, man. I'm at a loss. I just like so many of these. I always like Je ne sais quoi from the first one.
Taylor's version. You can't forget that part.
Taylor's version.
Okay,
body Kamara footage.
All right. Jared Goff, MVP Jared Goff, Tyrone Tracy, Bucky League winner Irving, Justin Jefferson, Mike, I'm going to get another 1,000-yard season, Evans, Hunter, I can't stop getting targets, Henry, Alvin, body Kamara footage, James, I'm cooking up big plays, I can't stop now. Once you start, you can't stop. All right. Anyway, on the bench, we get Pat Fryer with Keon Coleman, Austin Eckler. Get him out of there, man. Brock Purdy, Kate Otten, Eagles defense. Why are we starting? We have two defenses. Why are we starting the Bills against the Rams when we have the Eagles against the Panthers?
I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe he just hasn't fixed his lineup yet.
Maybe he hasn't turned his body Kamara on. I don't know. Whatever. Austin Eckler has no use on this roster. Either does Pat Freiermuth, Keon Coleman.
No, there are several teams here that have players that have no use, but I mean, you just looked at the waivers, and I'm sure if they wanted somebody, they could grab them.
He literally has James Cook. Pick up Ray Davis. Pick up Trey Benson. I don't care. Pick up handcuffed running backs.
Right.
This is our theme of every show that we do. This is all I talk about.
Jeremy McNichols.
No, you can leave him out there. All right.
I like this team.
Yeah, I do too. No, I do too. I think Bucky Irving's going to be a league winner.
I like this team. I'm actually a little surprised they're 7-6. I know it took a while for Bucky Irving to get to the party.
Yeah.
And I know Mike Evans missed time.
Yeah.
And Keon Coleman has kind of run hot or cold. And Austin Eckler, even when they had him, was in and out of the lineup. But Kate Otten, Brock Purdy and Jared Goff is a great quarterback combo. This is another one I can see getting hot in the playoffs and possibly making a run.
And he had Trey Benson and dropped. He also had Stephon Diggs as well. I mean, he lost Stephon Diggs. But great last round pick. He didn't even pick up Tyrone Tracy off the waiver wire. He drafted Tyrone Tracy in the 16th round.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. All right. Yeah. Half this bench you can drop. But yeah, I like the chances of winning this week. I like the chance of getting into the playoffs. I like the chances of this team making a little bit of run. I like, as a recovering Rachaad Whiteaholic, I think Bucky Irving is going to be a league winner this year. That fantasy playoff schedule for the Buccaneers is beautiful for running backs.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Silence of the Lamb.
Okay, while you start talking about this team, I'm going to step away for a sec.
Okay. Silence of the Lamb. We've got Josh Allen at quarterback, Rachaad White, who I just mentioned, Bucky Irving, but we can still play Rachaad White. Rachaad White is still, maybe he's not the top 5 running back that he was last year. He's not. I know. Kind of mourning. I'm still in a mourning period on Rachaad White, but you can still play him as like an RB3, as a flex play. I think we're okay. We're okay. They got a great schedule. They really do. Rest of the playoffs here. David Montgomery as well. David Montgomery. The Lions have the best schedule for running backs in the fantasy playoffs. If you didn't notice, I just did a video on the actual Yards per Fantasy YouTube channel this week talking about playoff schedules, easiest and most difficult. Make sure you check that out, Yards per Fantasy. Xavier Worthy has no use being in this lineup. Trey Tucker, though, is a sneaky sleeper this week. I can't blame you for playing Trey Tucker. Mageddon must be really getting you here. I don't know. I haven't seen the whole team yet. But Trey Tucker's interesting. I know he caught like one ball last week, but it's a big play. He's a big play receiver. He's either going to give you 10 points, 15 points, or he's going to give you 3 or 0. Going against the Buccaneers this week, they really struggle against wide receivers, especially outside wide receivers who can make plays down the field, like Trey Tucker. He's an interesting sleeper this week. I kind of like that. TJ Hawkinson, slowly getting ramped up. I think he's had a 20+% target share in all but one of his games since returning. So eventually we're going to get a traditional TJ Hawkinson performance. Maybe this is the week against the Falcons. Maybe it happens this week at some point during the fantasy playoffs. TJ Hawkinson's going to get going, I think. They do have a little bit of a difficult schedule, but I'm not too worried about that. CD Lamb, he's just going to get targets. The ceiling's not the same as when Dak Prescott's out there throwing the ball. But over the last 3 weeks, Cooper Rush, he's averaged 41 pass attempts per game, and so much of that is going to CD Lamb. CD Lamb, he's not, like I said, doesn't have like the wide receiver 1 overall ceiling like he does with Dak Prescott, but he's still going to be a top 12, top 15 wide receiver just based on pure volume. Just volume. So I like that for CD Lamb. Kenneth Walker, there's a great danger that he is not going to play this week. Unfortunately, I believe that's a Sunday night game, so we've really got to keep an eye on that one. Sleeper kicker, Jake Bates. I did on some show, I can't remember, but I think it was with Steven and Ryan at some point. I think we did a Scott Fishbowl mock draft in the summer. I called Jake Bates sleeper kicker. It's my kicker victory lap for the show. Dalton Kincaid.
Every show needs one.
Absolutely. Dalton Kincaid has been a disaster. You can drop him, whether he's healthy or not. Romeo Dobbs, you can drop him. Cortland Sutton has been awesome. So I guess we can see why some of these wide receivers are in the lineup this week because you're without Cortland Sutton. Kayshon Boutte, have no use for him. Justice Hill, I don't mind hanging on to Justice Hill. Michael Wilson has no use being on this roster at all. Just these guys are just wasting roster spots with guys like this, on guys who you're never going to start. You're never going to start them. You're never, ever going to start them. What happens? I'm back. What happens if something happens to James Conner or James Cook? You're running to the waiver wire to pick up a league winner, Trey Benson or Ray Davis, and you have a 1 in 12 shot of getting them. Why are these guys out there? And these frauds are on the bench for no reason.
These rosters look they look like dynasty rosters. You know what I mean? When people in dynasty continue to keep guys around,
with how active this league is,
blow up.
With how active this league is, it surprises me. And we've talked to some of them. Some of them have come on our show from tonight or from the preseason. They're smart guys. They know what they're doing. I don't understand this. I don't understand this roster construction. Why do we have these players who have no use? You're never going to start them. They have no upside whatsoever. You're wasting roster spots and you're risking losing out on a league winner. If something happens to a starting running back, you're missing out. That's all I got. Let's move on.
Get off the soapbox.
Never. I will never. Not off that one.
I think, incidentally, Silence of the Lamb was my pick to win this league.
I forgot to go back and check to see who we picked.
I believe I did pick them. And I'm not feeling too bad about it. They've got the team, and when I did, it was really on the strength of CD and Kenneth Walker, and considering they could win this week without those two even having to do very much, they still will. I'm assuming Walker plays, but I'm still liking the silence of the Lamb.
All right, let's move on to the second place team, the Hog Crankers, 9-4, sitting in second, trying to get that first round bye. So we got Patrick Mahomes as our number one quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander Madison maybe back this week. Isaac League winner Guarendo. This is just makes my point. Just makes my point. It makes my whole point. You thought I was done. Makes my whole point. Isaac Guarendo makes the whole damn point.
Yeah, but the point would be if he was already on this roster before all that shit went down.
Maybe, but
you know what I mean? But either way, everybody had to go running to the waiver wire.
But what about the other teams that missed out on him? You could have had him instead of Romeo Dobbs.
And how did the second place team get him?
I don't know. This is a fab thing, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't remember what I was about to say. I was looking something up. I don't remember.
Well, we got JSN, who's been pretty reliable of late.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking for a great game for him on Sunday. I think this is a DK Metcalf game, but JSN will still get his, I think. Same with McConkey as long as he plays. Ingram, I don't care who's at quarterback or what's going on. I'm going to start him. You know what I mean? He's just too consistent overall. Tyreek Hill, you could do a hell of a lot worse in the flex. And that is evidenced by the fact that DeAndre Hopkins is right next to him. And we've got Derrick Henry on bye, Joe Mixon on bye, Dallas Goedert hurt, Cole Kmet, Harrison Butker for some ungodly reason, Joshua Palmer, and Hollywood Brown for some ungodly reason. There's got to be something we don't know, because
supposedly
these guys have some dudes on IR that I'm like, well, they're not coming back.
Well, supposedly Hollywood Brown could be back in like week 16. That's
but
word on the street. You're not going to play him. No. Oh, you're not going to play him. No. But this guy has an affinity for Hollywood Brown. He drafted him in the 8th round. Now, you look at the bench and you see the exact reason why this team is in second place. It's Derrick Henry and it's Joe Mixon. Because when you drafted Tyreek Hill 2nd overall and you're somehow still in second place, that's why right there. It's Derrick Henry, it's Joe Mixon. They're carrying this team right now. This team, just look at the draft, I would predict that this team probably has the least amount of moves made this year. Because pretty much every team every player that they drafted is still on this roster.
Only 2 trades. Only 2 trades, and that's, I think, a low for what we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Although they've made some free agent claims. But yeah, draft. So
I don't know where you're seeing that, but yeah.
I'm just on the rosters page.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're on the. Okay, I got you. I'm clicking on the actual team. All right, I got you. All right. Yeah. What do you think about this team overall?
I like it. It makes sense that it's in second place. Honestly,
what happens if Tyreek Hill starts scoring like Tyreek Hill? This team's not going to be stopped.
With the exception of Alexander Madison, I wouldn't hate this lineup as a fringe playoff contender. And that's not even including the guys that are on bye right now. You put Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon in there, and maybe Goddard if he's healthy. And geez, I mean, this can be a powerful lineup.
This team so far is the first one that I felt confident that could really make a run and win this championship.
Yeah, I wonder what they were called. I
think they were always the Hog Crankers.
Really? I don't recall.
I'm not sure. Name. I have like a 10% confidence in that.
Really? Because your confidence level is
most of my
way higher.
It's an act. I'm a character. I don't know what to tell you. Most of my takes feel that way.
All right. I like the Hog Crankers. Let's move on.
One more thing. I just want one more thing. This team is just going to get hot at the right time with Henry, Mixon, but the wide receivers. You're adding Gorendo to Jackson Smith and Jigba and Ladd McConkey, who are getting hot late in the year. Like I said, what happens if Tyreek Hill starts scoring? Anyway, let's move on. First place team.
I think it's fair to mention also that a lot of these teams have at least one, if not both, questionable flexes. And when this team gets Henry and Mixon back, there will be no question who is going into that lineup every week. And the flexes would be starters on other teams.
Absolutely. And if you go and stash, like a Ray Davis or what happens? All right. First place team, Lamar, Johnny, Jackson. They've only got $1 of fab left. So they must have made either one big splash or a couple big splashes, or they've been really, really active. So I'm interested to check out this roster. So we are quarterbacked by Russell Wilson for the bye week, but we do have Lamar Jackson by Mageddon. He's on the bench. Bijan Robinson has been just dominating the second half of the year. Kyron Williams doesn't know how to not score touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy, you're off to a great start with Jerry Jeudy. Jacoby Myers. Fantastic playoff schedule. He's getting a ton of targets. He's got no target competition outside of Brock Bowers. Jacoby Myers is a must start in this lineup every single week. I'm going to make a video next week about predicting who are going to be this year's league winners in the fantasy playoffs. I've got Jacoby Myers penciled in from one of the wide receiver spots. Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce, up and down. Kareem Hunt.
Travis Kelce does this every year, though. He waits until right before the playoffs to turn it on. So I'm not entirely shocked at the season he's having, but he could light it up in the fantasy playoffs as he gets geared up for the real deal.
Somebody's got to turn him on. Kareem Hunt is really helped to survive this season. He got you through. I don't think he's usable anymore. We're kind of at that point. It was like a 50-50 split last week with Isaiah Pacheco. It might start swinging now back to normal Pacheco as we get into the fantasy playoffs. But he got you through, helped you survive. Keenan Allen has been really hot lately. He's been really benefiting from, the rejuvenated offense. And I think that's just going to continue now that Eberflus is out of there. Which, by the way, that whole team hated that guy. They're all talking this week that they're just it's a sense of relief. They're taking a nice breath. They hated that guy. Then we got some more, why the hell are these guys on the roster type guys? DeMarcus Robinson. Rashad Bateman. I'll forgive you for Rashad Bateman. I've always got a spot in my heart and my roster for Rashad Bateman. Jeremy McNichols, Ricky Pearsall gave you a week. Yep. It's not going to happen again. You can let go. I give you permission. You can do it. I promise. You can let him go. Just let him go. If you love him, let him go. All right, what do you think of this roster? Is this worthy of being in first place?
Well, I'm picturing it with Lamar in there, and
That's it.
potentially Rashad Bateman in a flex role if he's healthy.
Something's missing here. Somebody we must have lost. We must have lost a Godwin or a Rashee Rice or
because I feel like this team probably jumped out quick at the beginning of the season.
Brandon Ayuk. That's what it was. Well, he wasn't even that great though.
No, he wasn't. But Kyron and Bijan, they're putting up numbers pretty good. I'm guessing if Jerry Jeudy can continue what he started last week with being Jameis Winston's 1A, no, it shouldn't be in first place.
No, I agree.
It shouldn't be in first place. It's definitely a playoff team.
Fourth place.
Yeah, I'd say third or fourth place is where they should be. But again, we're getting into the playoffs. Anything can happen as soon as that goes. So,
yep. I think you. My theory is always you make it to the playoffs with skill, you win it with luck.
Right.
All right. Gonna put you on the spot here. We went through all 12 teams. Who's gonna win this league?
The answer to your question is the Hog Crankers are going to win this league.
I agree.
And
I wish I didn't agree, but I agree.
I don't think it's going to be particularly close.
Oh, wait. Ask me again. Who do I think is going to win this league?
Aside from Hunter, who's finishing second?
It's the Golden Gods. The Golden Gods are going to win this league. The Golden Gods are going to make the comeback of all comebacks. They're going to add the median scoring, and all of a sudden, Hunter is going to charge through. He's going to win like 6 games in 1 week. He's going to make the playoffs. He's going to go on a run, and he's going to live up to the name of the Golden Frauds.
Right. I think it's I think it's worth mentioning, and I'm not just saying this because he came on the show. Wes makes a really good point about the luck he's fell on. He needs help to get into the playoffs, but if he gets there, I would be worried to play that team because it's also very powerful. And I don't hate Silence of the Lamb either. But I just don't see anybody beating the Hog Crankers at this point.
Yeah, I agree on Wes. If he gets in, there's a shot.
Nobody will want to play him.
He'll be the second place team. He'll be your second place team because T. Higgins can get hot. James Conner's got a great playoff schedule. George Kittle, there's no target competition in that offense right now.
But he's got to get in.
He's got Saquon. All right. Any last thoughts?
No,
before I hit the button?
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it. Always fun to do a repeat of a league that we have already seen once before and see what's changed and everything. So good luck this weekend, man. It's a big one.
And I'm gonna go buy a new car with the money that Hunter sent me.
Yeah, thanks, Hunter.
Thanks, Hunter.